So I decided to enjoy an award-winning game where, lucky for me, I get to roleplay as a victim. Elden Ring has recently come out with its DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, and it looks incredible. I have had Elden Ring sitting in my Steam library for quite a while now, but I've only played a couple hours here and there, only really progressing in the immediate areas, and I did this all basically while on stream, and I just never really gave it a second thought. With my endeavor to play games and actually give them the time of day instead of only a fleeting chance, I decided that I will play Elden Ring, and I will do my best to progress through this, well, fantastic game. The new player experience for this game is downright terrifying. Here's what happened. When I played Elden Ring before, I never really paid attention to the character creation. I think I only picked the Vagabond because I thought he looked cool, he's got some armor on. Well, it turns out each one of the classes have a specific starting strength, and I didn't pay any attention to any of them. I look at all these choices and their stat values, and I actually read the damn stat values. Like, legit, I have been doing this all wrong. Well, after thinking about it, what way to truly suffer if not as a melee strength enjoyer?
Hold up.
Why not dip into some faith, too?
Wait a minute.
I'm kind of going for those, like, holy paladin vibes, you know? And I am absolutely certain that this has never been done before, ever.
Something ain't right.
Legitimately, I look at all these, and the Confessor seems like my go-to. I mean, seriously, his starting armor is with a sword and shield, and he gets a nun cloak. Pretty damn awesome. The character creation aspect of this game, however, is absolutely hilarious though. You can literally create the most unhinged creations. Well, I mean, it's just wild. Well, after about like 10 minutes, my perfect iteration is ready to go. Just so you know, the handlebar mustache and the bald head and the dark, depressing eyes, that is a continuous joke. Check out my Final Fantasy stuff. Well, we have everything we need, so let's get into it. We get a little story of the Elden Ring and how it was shattered and the Queen's children took the shards and ran away with them and gave them like superpowers. We then see our character with the narrator saying, "It is time for us to become the Elden Lord." Don't know what that is. A quick glance over the UI, and it's very minimalistic, which I'm always a fan of. I have my sword, my shield, my dodge roll. That's really all I need, to be fair. Looking around, I see this chapel and a giant tree in the distance. That should be something important, right? Maybe that's the Erdtree. Then I get to look at my character with his holy outfit on. Why is he so mad? It's none of your business. I walk my way down this little opening, and I know for a fact that there's a boss here. I remember this distinctly. Well, he jumps out, and I get slapped harder than a $10 hoe. Like, I didn't even get my shield up. Well, they throw my corpse down into a pit, and a horse and some lady come up to sniff me. I mean, the horse came up and sniffed me, not the lady. Actually, I can't confirm that. I was dead at the time. We get up again, and now we are at the bottom of this pit. There's, like, a tutorial section for me to go in and test my game knowledge. Nice. They should have really had a sign, hey, this is for noobs. Well, I touched this Lost Grace, which I remember is basically my save point, and now comes the first enemy. And the first enemy in a long line of slaughtering that is sure to come. Well, the next guy I stand about for like 2 minutes trying to land a parry or block appropriately, and after missing about like 20 attacks, I say, to hell with this, and I kill him. It's just, that was so frustrating. And then for some reason, the spacebar isn't jump. It's F, which doesn't make any effing sense, actually. I guess because you use the dodge roll more often? I don't know. Well, I approach this shield guy, and we do this weird shield dance trying to get a corner on each other, but honestly, it looks like we're at a hoedown. I somehow get a good stance break and get a rear attack, noise, and I kill him. Well, I work my way through the rest of this tunnel, and I get to a boss room. And the boss's name is Soldier of Godric. He seems like he's a big bad boss, right? Well, one swing of my little sword and 20% of his HP is gone. I know this is the tutorial boss, but I mean, come on, this is kind of like too easy. Well, actually, it is a little bit difficult. I get slapped around a couple of times, and now I don't have any flasks, and I'm one hit from death. Whew, it would be terrible luck for me to die on the first tutorial boss. Well, I have to take a very conservative approach, and I move in and get the kill. I go into the next few rooms, and then up a ladder, and then up to the top is the entrance to Limgrave. I mean, just look at this beautiful area. This whole place is incredible. Holy hell, I'm just really in awe with how, like, in-depth this game is. Like, this looks really, really good. Well, I go and touch this Grace, and then I talk to this guy right here who basically says, hey, you ain't got no ladies. And guess what? You're gonna die. Listen here, you shut your damn mouth, you well-mannered asshole. I walk down to see this gold knight, and I remember this from my very first time playing. This dude stomped a mud hole through me and my soul, and I ain't about that smoke. I progress forward, and I find this shopkeep here, and he's just chilling, offering things for me to buy if I'm interested, but like everything is super expensive and I have no runes, so I guess it's like real life. Things are way too expensive to purchase at these little niche boutique shops. Seriously though, why is it always the boutique shops that are so damn expensive? I work my way north, killing some guards, mainly with a sneaky behind the back stab, because man, I love getting them from behind. I said what I said. I work my way to this Grace, but then I sit down and I'm greeted by this phantasmal figure of a woman. Damn, my guy is so lonely that he is literally hallucinating these women. Holy hell. Well, her name is Melina, and she offers me an accord. Basically, she wants to help me become stronger and get into the round table in exchange for me taking her to the foot of the Erd tree. Well, I get a choice to help her or not, but like legitimately I was already ripped to shreds by some multi-hand human-faced fighter, and for some reason it had a sword and shield. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and help this lady. Well, she gives me a mount, and not in that way, and his name is Torrent. Okay, I like this. Fast travel almost immediately. I start murking some of the guards here in the woods, and then I discover this little cave entrance. Well, I need runes, so let's go spelunking. I work my way down, and I fight this entire massive pack of wolves, and damn, they hit pretty hard. I work down a little bit further, and I find a boss room. Oh boy. We walk into the Beastman of Farum Azula, and I'm not gonna lie, this is this awesome weapon. Like legit, I want this sword. Well, his mechanics are very basic, lots of attack chains and simple dodges for me to avoid. I am actually quite proud of myself for doing this well until I get hit a few times and get massively chunked by the giant sledgehammer slam that he does, and it nearly one-shots me. But I understand his attack pattern a little bit better, and I know when to dip in and dip out. Oh boy, this isn't good. Well, I time it just right to get the kill. First boss is a one-shot. Let's go! I get a Flame Drake talisman that reduces fire damage taken. Nice. I kill a couple of guards on my way out, and after fighting that boss, I get a mess of runes, so now it's time to level up my stuff. I spend the next like 10 minutes killing all the mobs in the immediate area, and I get to this one who's an absolute asshat. Legit, why does he hit so hard? I have to dip out for a little bit, but I want to get some more runes so I can level up more. So I go off exploring, and I find a Grace and get into a horse battle, but all the while I'm hearing this voice of like someone who can't be seen, or like we don't see who that was. I don't know who the hell this was, but I felt like I was going insane. I run into this group of mobs, and for some reason my horse gets caught up and like burned to death. Well, I dodge roll and run away to heal, but it was actually pretty scary. I thought I was gonna die right there. Well, now I get to this bridge and I have to fight this horsey boy again, another one, and I get way too cocky and fall right off the edge of the bridge. I am so damn dumb. First official death in the game is because I fell. Well, I gather up my runes and go back to show that asshat who's boss, except I get killed again. I hope this doesn't become a frequent thing. Now, my third attempt, we go back and kill that jerk, and we show him who's boss. I get my runes back. I level up and head south to this bog, but I remember this from my first playtime. I remember Galactic took me here thinking that I wouldn't notice this GD dragon flying in out of nowhere, and Galactic's like, oh, it's just a dragon. Just a dragon. Well, he breathes fire once, and I die. So much for a one-shot. I then proceed to attempt this boss for the next like 20 to 30 minutes, which really comes down to me dying to stupid stuff. After some attrition, I finally get him within killing distance. Well, then he tries to burn me real quick, but it's no match because, as Obi-Wan once said, I have the high ground.
Oh, I hate you.
I get the kill and 5,000 runes to boot. Nice. Galactic showed me this boss in the first 10 minutes of my playthrough, and it was like terrible. Well, I get enough strength to wield a big two-hander sword, but it's like slow and kind of clunky, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like that. I don't approve of it quite yet. I will say it makes short work of mobs when I'm horseback, so that's actually pretty nice. Yeah, Remembering the dragon actually reminded me of the first boss that I ever killed in Elden Ring, which was the Bloodhound. I remember he was south, so I start heading south where this guy was. I grab a grace here, I demolish a local village of friendly notebrobes, and here we go. I get teleported to this nightmare realm, and out of the shadows appears Bloodhound Knight Darrowwill. Not only does he move incredibly fast, he bleeds, which is a huge problem because I have grown accustomed to blocking with my shield. Well, I get wrecked without even landing a hit on this guy. Like my first attempt, I didn't even get a single swing in. I switch back to my single-handed sword because I feel like it's so much faster and I have to be fast on this fight. This time I actually get a hit on him. Mom, get the camera. Oh, that's progress. After getting slapped around like Chris Rock, I finally get into a groove and understand his fight pattern. I need a sword and a shield, and I need some smooth moves, perhaps not dying in the first minute of the fight. I started understanding where my openings are and how to move in and out, as well as when I can actually attack. And then I started landing blow after blow, blocking the counter strikes and even more monitoring my bleed stack so that it doesn't pop. Looking at it now, he's really not that bad. He's not that deadly, but he is still technically deadly if you're dumb. Well, I dance with him a few more times, and I get him down to 20% HP with no more flasks. I dodge attacks left and right, and roll out of the way and get the last slice. Down goes the Bloodhound. I was actually pretty stoked at my capabilities here. I was like, look at me go. Except I can't even use the damn sword. I don't have the dexterity for it. I see the mini-map is telling me that I need to go north, so that's just what I do. I gotta run north to these ruin areas, but I end up getting smacked by all the damn mobs as I run through. And I'm panicking, so I try to run up to this grace so I don't have to keep running back. Except a pack of wolves jumps out of the rocks and eats me. Literally. I have no idea where they came from, but this actually made me like unreasonably mad. Stupid wolves, man. I talked to this lady here and she tells me that some Tarnished people fought for her, but they were taken away and grafted together like some kind of giant weird human centipede spider type deal. The hell, FromSoft? I get smacked around by a few mobs and I have to come back here to our girl, Melina, and she tells me that I have received a golden seed, which makes me have more flask charges. Nice. Melina then tells me that there is an Elden Ring shard up the hill, but I have to go through a whole group of asshats to get to it. Well, I rush through them and I tag this site of grace, and there's a summoning pool and a cooperator, a sign that says boss ahead. Oh boy, I know where this is going. I approach the castle and then I get this cutscene.
Foul Tarnished, in search of the Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition, must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell. Okay, this seems like my first major boss. Let's effing go. Okay, so my first attempt, I get one hit in. Not bad. I'm just trying to understand the mechanics and the movements. This would lead to the first death of many, in which I would spend the next 4 hours trying to understand this damn boss. I'd get to phase 2 a couple of times, but never understanding where my openings are, as I just get pummeled and pummeled by this absolute asshat. The second phase, his combos are just near relentless, that there's no real opening, or there's no strong openings. I got so mad at this point I had to step away. I was so tired of dying to stupid stuff. Legit, I had to like take a breather. I went outside. I don't even smoke. I went outside. Had to get some air. Well, I stepped away from this boss fight and I said, you know what? I know I'm only like level 18. Perhaps I'm too weak to take this guy down. So I spend like the next hour farming runes and then I take him to my hallucination honey so that she can power me up. I do this and get some upgrades to health and strength, and now I'm doing pretty well against Margit. Like each hit deals like 70 damage versus the previous 50. That's not bad if I say so myself. Well, he keeps hitting me a whole while and I'm like trying to heal. It's like he knows when I'm trying to heal, so that's when he attacks. But I get to a point where I'm like not even being touched in the first phase. I know his attack combo pattern, but once we get into the second phase, that's what gets me. He attacks a lot faster with more combos. It's actually pretty difficult to match, for me at least. Well, I start timing my dodges and attacks
perfectly, and I start getting consistently down to like 30%. And now he's down this low and I have no flasks. I dodge perfectly and I get the kill on this guy. Immediately, my first thought was I need to start emoting on him, letting him know that he's my bitch now. I was never the bitch. Never me. Always him. Holy hell. Elden Ring's new player experience is quite incredible, I have to say. Legit, I literally stood up and started shouting, "That's what I'm talking about. Let's go," when I killed Margit. He was a punk ass, and I am so glad that he's dead, but he did teach me a lot about the game. He did teach me something that I needed to know, and I learned why the game is so well loved. The boss fights are meant to be hard. They are meant to be so difficult so that when you actually kill them, they are so rewarding. It's so damn awesome, the euphoria that you get after you've worked on a boss for a little bit and then you get the kill. I picked up when I'm fighting these bosses, I need to make sure that I'm understanding their combos. I need to understand objectively if I'm capable enough to even handle this fight. And then 3, I just need to understand that I can walk away from the boss fight if I need to. Like if it's stressing me out, there's usually something else that I can go and do. So I think that was something very important that I learned very early on in this Elden Ring playthrough. At one point, I was so focused on the mechanics, I didn't even give myself room for error, which is why I'm learning these things. I need to focus on improving a little bit each time I go through. Was it frustrating? Absolutely. Was it worth it? 110%. Such a good experience, and I haven't barely put any crazy amount of time into the game. I see now why it's the game of the year. I mean, it's so rewarding to get these kills to work on something like this. Another aspect of the game that I don't think is highlighted enough, at least in my mind, is the exploration aspect of the game. Like, down to every little hovel, there's a chance that there's a boss or a rare item. And it's just, I could spend hours just exploring all around without even progressing the main story, which thankfully the graces are kind of like pointing me in the direction I need to go, which helps. I just love the idea that I can just go off on my own adventure and explore, and I don't have to feel like I'm working super hard on any given area or section. And honestly, I see why this game is so loved, and I'm really here for it. I'm ready to take my Tarnished Confessor into the next levels and explore Stormveil Castle, and further. Game is quite addicting. Now, I mainly play MMOs, and I'm currently streaming my Final Fantasy XIV playthrough, and you can catch me live there, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays and Fridays, here on YouTube. I've also recently played Path of Exile for the very first time, and its new player experience was brutal. You can see that here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.